can't tell if we're live. The broadcast is live. We're live. Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome to our, what would you call this? Reveal?
I guess so. Grand reveal.
Yeah, kind of an
coming out party.
Kind of an overused. No, we're not calling it that. Kind of an overused term, reveal in today's world. But hey, I'm Crispin Pally, and with me here is my main man. I can't get this thing straight.
You cannot get it right. But
Jack Dice, Obsessed Fishing, Associate Brand Manager at GSM Outdoors for the fishing division. And we are coming to you live. This is not our home, my home or his home. We are in a hotel room working a show. But after the show tonight, we just jumped off the Yamamoto page and just jumped over here to Buckeye. And one of the things that we really pride ourselves on as an organization is our team, our family, our culture, our group, right? Like our tribe. And, Buckeye, we inherited some pretty awesome people on the Buckeye side when we acquired it back in May, June-ish.
Something right around there.
But we also saw some opportunities to bring in some of our other family members, our other team members, people that we know would really lend credence to this brand as we kind of foster it going forward. And so that's kind of what tonight's about, kind of new year, new you kind of thing. We're gonna take some time and kind of walk through this list of pros that we're adding to the Buckeye stable. And I said this on the Yamamoto stream earlier, and I'm going to say it again, that there's so much more to being on there you go, get it dialed in. There's so much more to being on this pro staff than just being like a face or a name, right? Mm-hmm. Like, would you agree, Jack, that in your time here, you came on in May also?
Yeah, I did.
Would you agree that, and sometimes if I were being very honest and transparent with you, maybe I overthink this, but I place so much importance on our culture. Mm-hmm. I place so much importance on our family, and I place so much importance on having the right kind of people to represent not just Buckeye, but GSM and me personally and you personally and what we believe in and all of that stuff. So this is not just a job. It's not just hiring someone. It is bringing them into our family. And we, when we do that, we say that we believe in you, we believe you're like us, and we want to do this together. With that being said, I want to first kind of pay a little homage to the existing Buckeye guys. Really cool brand. We own Yamamoto, we own Buckeye. We have Steel Shad, and we have Bill Lewis, and they're all four uniquely different brands. Buckeye to me is very intriguing. I've used Buckeye products since I think the brand first came out, maybe the spot remover. It's a brand that I've always had a lot of confidence in their products, and they're kind of an angler's brand.
Yes, for sure.
Buckeye has gotten to where it's at today because of the people who are or were with this brand. So there's people that are no longer on this pro staff that really deserve some respect and love for the state of this brand today. We are about to introduce some people to you that join the existing pro staff that we believe are going to enhance the state of this brand and help us get where we desire to go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, and again, with every brand that GSM has acquired, to get there to where it's a point where we can look at it and say, that's a brand we want to have be a part of our portfolio.
Yeah, we believe in the future of this brand.
Yeah, and that starts on the foundation that a lot of, whether it be the existing Yamamoto team or in this case, the existing Buckeye team, really helped to grow. So we're really indebted to them for getting us started. But we believe in combination of their expertise in history with some new guys, we can really take it even farther.
That's right. So that's what tonight is about. What a better opportunity than a new year to introduce some new additions to our staff. And as you can see, the chat's up and running, and it is rolling, and we're happy about that. Once we get done with this, if we've got enough time, we'll have some fun over there in the chat and probably make fun of some people. And I see Clay Dyer on there. What is up, my brother? Known Clay for a long time. But he's one of the existing Buckeye guys that just add so much value to this brand, But let's take a few minutes and let's start at the top and run through who we're adding to Buckeye. Now, understand, there are a lot of guys that we've got with other brands that we also rolled over into Buckeye.
Yeah,
and
so
Yamamoto and Bill Lewis.
Absolutely. So if you were on the Yamamoto stream, some of this will sound like a broken record, but again, if you're on our team, we believe that you could represent any of our brands.
Right.
And so for the guys who have decided to work with us with Buckeye and Yamamoto, we're super excited to have them on both.
Except for probably Evan Barnes. I have doubts that he can represent us well with any brand.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that being said, that's another story altogether. I'm sure we'll get into that. But let's kick things off with the first new addition to the Buckeye team. Or you go ahead. I started last time.
Well, so first off is a guy who's another hammer in his own right and has really proven himself over the last few years, and that's Blake Hall. He's a guide, and he guides all over the country, but really his home waters seem to be that Guntersville, that TVA, kind of within the same realm of what you cut your teeth fishing is that TVA system.
Sure.
And he's someone who's really jumped up pretty fast. I think the most impressive thing to me for Blake Hall, like looking over his stats, was that in his rookie year, he qualified for that title event on the NLF, pro circuit, which that's really hard to do. I think that's a really good measurement of if a guy comes to the top of the level of the sport and instantly makes the championship. Like, that's so hard to do. There's so many voices in your head. Can you do this? Do you have what it takes?
Yep.
That shows really a lot of promise for the future of that.
A lot of poise and a lot of honestly ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Blake's ability comes from the fact that Blake's on the water about as much as anybody on earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Blake's guiding around, Guntersville, Wheeler, Pickwick. I opened Facebook and Blake's guiding down in Florida, and then I opened, Instagram and Blake's guiding on Falcon Lake down on, the Texas border. That dude spends a lot of time in a boat, and
it shows.
Yeah, it does show. And one of the things I want to reiterate, we talked about this earlier quite a bit, is these guys, their unique perspectives and expertise and abilities and thought processes will all go into shaping the future of this brand.
Mm-hmm.
And Blake Hall is a guy with a lot of experience, a lot of different places, and not to, I say this as a compliment, take the pro fisherman hat off and put the guide hat on, because it's a very different hat to wear. Blake's got to keep a boat full of stuff that he believes people who aren't pro fishermen can catch them on.
Yeah.
I'm about to die. But so go ahead, Jack. I got to get a drink. Go ahead. Talk. Roll us into who's next.
So that's really impressive for Blake Hall, and we're really glad to have him on the team. And again, we talked about what Buckeye started as and where it's going. So someone that we were really excited to bring onto our team across the board was Marshall Robinson. The Robinson, Marty has been a staple of the Buckeye brand.
Pretty familiar last name.
Yeah,
Buckeye,
a little familiar. Marty the Party, and his son is also coming to the party, joining us across the board, not just with Buckeye, but
sure.
But in particular with the Buckeye brand. He has all that history. He's had those baits in his boat since he was a kid, and he's still a kid, and he's fishing at the highest level. He's qualified for what is the invitationals. And that, again, I believe he finished second at the Toyota Championship on Guntersville, and he's only like 19 or something stupid. Stupid.
I always hear, even before we even considered acquiring Buckeye, I was hearing about those Robinson kids,
mm-hmm.
right? And Marshall is going to be a huge addition to our team. We're there, and it's just kind of a cool legacy deal too,
mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely. But that's the thing. It's not just about, okay, you're part of,
No.
You just get grandfathered in. He freaking catches them.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of guys on our staff that have kids that fish. This Marshall earned this.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, so it's
Absolutely.
not a hand me down by any means. Let's talk about next, Brandon Perkins.
Yeah, there's another one.
You know, we introduced Brandon a moment ago on the Yamamoto side. Brandon's a longtime friend of mine, and once again, he didn't get on the gravy train either. I get him a white monster. Man, I almost grabbed one out of the fridge. I'll be honest with you, but I decided at 8:00 at night I should drink water instead. So, but back to BP, Brandon Perkins. You know, Brandon is a Pickwick guy. Brandon is one of those dudes that if you're around him, you're laughing. He's a lot of fun, kind of a contagious dude to hang out with, and a stick. Brandon can catch him. He is feared on Pickwick, and not just Pickwick, other places. But he's the guy you got to beat on Pickwick, right?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you a little bit about Brandon. He works in the medical sales when he's not on the water. I don't believe that he works other than being on the water. Every time I talk to him, he's in a boat. His wife is Tisha, has two little girls, Lakin and Lola. They live in Counce, Tennessee. And Brandon fished the last year or two on the NPFL with a pretty high level of success. He won Pickwick. Like I said, that's who you got to beat at Pickwick. Yeah. You go to Pickwick and he's in the field. This is the guy you got to beat. And he was also the runner-up AOY that year. And I work sometimes. Whatever, bro. Like, don't start out this relationship by fibbing to us live. But I talked to him like maybe a day or so after that last event, and he broke down, and it cost him winning AOY. So, you know, not taking anything away from whoever won it, you earned it. But Brandon he's a hammer and consistent. Made the Forestwood Cup in 2016, Costa Championship, ended up in second place in 15, and 2009 American Bass Anglers National Championship. His favorite Buckeye baits are a mop jig and a G-Man balling out jig. What if I told you that this is just that dude that I believe at any day could decide, okay, I'm going to go out there at any level on any tour and just be the dude because he's that good.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that he mentions both. I expect the mop jig from a TVA guy,
right?
But then I see but also the ball and out jig, and I think to have both of those be equally your favorite shows that he's not as one dimensional as you might think, just being a TVA guy. Clearly, the way he's shown himself on the NPFL, he's been in the hunt for Angler of the Year every year. Again, on national level tours, you can't get by with one bait in your hand. You can't only say, I'm going to fish ledges. You've got to be versatile. So him knowing how to throw a finesse jig on the bank and a mop jig out deep and everything in between, it shows in his results. So again, those are the kind of guys we love to have on our team, guys who can catch them anywhere.
Well, he's one of those guys. Let's talk next. Tell me who's next as a new addition to the Buckeye family.
So someone that we're bringing on to the Buckeye family, not only the Buckeye family, but also our entire GSM family, is a guy from the West Coast by the name of Shane Lamont. Now, I haven't met Shane, but he gave us his bio so we can learn a little bit about him. And so hopefully you guys can too. He said, hello, my name is Shane Lamont. I'm 31 years old and I'm from Southerly, California. I grew up fishing in a float tube for largemouth and started an Instagram called @BassThumbsFishing. Give him a follow. And branded the slogan, keep your thumbs ripped, which is something I like to do. So I'm with you, Shane, which related to all bass fishermen, just like me, throughout the country. That platform on Instagram grew and grew, and he got into a kayak and started a podcast focusing on the West Coast kayak fishing, which has opened up a lot of incredible opportunities within this fishing industry. He left the float tube about 4 years ago and started fishing competitively from a kayak. And that kayak fishing is something that's just blowing up.
I did it 1 year. I'm back in that skeeter. That kayak deal is another animal. I like my Ultrex. Gonna be straight with you. I like to stand on the pedal. So, kudos to Shane.
That's a different skill for Shane to have,
no doubt.
And he was fortunate enough to qualify for some of the biggest national trails the sport has to offer, including BASS, KBF, ABA, and has fished in multiple states throughout the country. And fishing has been a huge part of his life, and he's going to be happy keeping his thumbs ripped up for many days to come. Which I'm hoping that with the products in his hands, from that we get to work on with him, that he'll be able to continue to do that, keep those.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is there are some baits out there that are a little more prolific on the kayak scene that, he gives us a fresh perspective of, because man, I've fished out of a kayak quite a bit, and it's not as easy in some regards, and some baits just lend itself better to that style of fishing. And we recognize there are a lot of people who fish out of a kayak, and with that being said, we're going to lean on Shane for his expertise there.
Definitely. So, and again, just about bringing some diversity for different perspectives. And it's a different game, the kayak game. It's like when MLF went to, every fish counts. It's the same game. It's still catching fish, but there's just different challenges. So I'm always impressed by the guys who find them and catch giant stringers in a kayak.
No doubt. I'm not one of those guys, for the record. So, all right. So the next new addition to the Buckeye family, I introduced him a few minutes ago, or about an hour ago now, on the Yamamoto side. And I'm honored to do it again over here. Is James Niggemeyer. And James is one of those guys that man, I'll never be able to say enough good things about. And it's not lip service. Like, James is a dude that I look up to. James is a guy that I would consider a very model family man. His faith is it's inspiring. His fishing resume is on another level. He's won like a couple $1 million, and they're nearly that.
Yeah,
fishing.
Yeah, I think he says here in his bio, $1.19 million catching bass.
Yeah,
that's
crazy. That's not something you can just go do. And if I were to be honest with you, James and I go back a long, long way. Most of you that know me know I spent about 17 years at Strike King. And spent a lot of that time working with James on products, on projects, filmed several shows together. I told this story earlier that I actually drew him. The last year the Elites had co-anglers. I fished the one on my home lake, Kentucky Lake, as a co-angler. And I don't remember, I finished third or fifth or so, but I drew James the third day out of 4. The co-anglers only fish 3 days, pros fish 4. And I think it was top 50 day for the pros or something like that. But man, just special guy, a guy that I just look up to incredibly, and a ridiculously good fisherman. Made several classics, made Forestwood Cups, I think.
Yeah,
FLW. Yeah,
he finished second on Washdock. I remember that one specifically just because the fishing was so brutally tough, and he was one of the few anglers who managed to make it work for multiple days, and it rode him almost all the way to a world championship.
That's right. And James, if you know anything about him, he started his career, or I guess his influence or upbringing starts out on the West Coast, and ended up in Texas, which is a pretty phenomenal place to be also if you're a bass fisherman. And he has incredible wife, Sandy. Is just a man. I love his family, and Daniel and Abigail, and James is going to fish. Where are we at?
I believe he's fishing the all 9 opens.
That's right. I just want to make sure. I thought I was right, but I didn't want to misspeak. Filmed my very first fishing show with Crispin. Wow.
There you go. You didn't even remember that.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that was his first, but it certainly won't be his last. He's a very talented angler and an even better person. But I just can't speak highly enough of James. And James is one of those guys that's just kind of a no-brainer. You get an opportunity to work with him. You latch on to those kind of people in your life, and we want to do everything to promote James. And I know that we'll get it back from him 10 times over in product development and the way he represents this brand. So, James, welcome aboard, brother. So next, tell me who we got next, new to the team at Buckeye.
Okay, going once again, new additions that sound familiar. We've got Laker Howell joining the Buckeye team as well. And I believe he and Marshall they're pretty tight. So those might be the next generation of just superstars that build off each other. But we had to have them both. We got Laker as well as his dad and as well as Marshall. And Laker, again, he's just someone who's, you need some balance, in a pro staff of, there's guys, you want guys who fish nationally, you want some guys who fish locally, and then you have kids like Laker who are just fish heads. They do
is fish everywhere.
They just fish. That's all he does everywhere he goes. And that comes back around in value to us, in that he understands what different things do in as far as bait design and products. And he's already come back to us with great insight that really is helping us shape our future product lines for not only Yamamoto, but Buckeye.
Yeah, Laker's one of those guys that every time you talk to, like, I want to go fishing, right?
Mhm.
Like, he's just fired up. And we told this story earlier once again on the Yamamoto page, but I want to share it again because it's meaningful. It has value. And back in the summer, Jack and I were in the boat with Randy. So if you recognize the Howell name, Laker Howell's father is Bassmaster Classic champion and all-around resident stud Randy Howell. And Jack and I were in the boat with Randy back in the summer, and we're running around on Gunnersville, which is his home lake, and he's going, yeah, Laker told me to check here, and he told me to set up on it this way, excuse me. And then he's like, well, Laker just texted me, we need to run over here and do this.
Well, he got him on the phone. That was the part where I became impressed, is get to see into it. And Laker got so specific about, it has to be this color on this line with the current running like this. Yeah. And that's what gets he's not just, I fish all the time. He's dialed.
Yeah, super dialed. Yeah, I remember that day because he's like, they're pulling so-and-so. You need to be right here, and you need to throw this direction, right?
And he's like, this spot needs to be this color.
And he was dead on the money, too.
He was.
I'm trying to remember was there not like some really unique like icon that Laker?
Yeah, he puts a gas pump on every spot that's gas.
Yeah, it's gas. So that's that Laker's a super dude. No doubt he's going to follow in his father's footsteps and just be really meaningful to the sport and certainly to this brand. So the next guy is another guy that I'm getting to know more and more all the time, and I really value the time I've got to spend with him. I told this again earlier, but you ever have somebody in your life where like every so often somebody will go, you need to meet so-and-so. You guys are going to just hit it off. Well, that person for me was Nick LeBrun. Nick LeBrun. Every time I turned around, somebody'd go, man, you need to get to know Nick LeBrun. And I've gotten to know Nick LeBrun, and we just added Nick LeBrun to Buckeye.
Yeah.
Right. Also added him to Yamamoto, which we talked about earlier. He's been with Bill Lewis for quite some time. But Nick LeBrun is just a hammer, man. Like Nick is I mean, his fishing resume
is off the charts right now. But what it's so cool about, if you've ever met Nick, is that he doesn't let that success doesn't get to his head.
Yeah.
He's still someone that you can, at least, that even if you have basic rudimentary knowledge of fishing, he'll connect with you on it. And he won't talk down to you. He'll talk through what his knowledge is to help you become a better angler. That's what we've seen on our side of the development of when we're trying to understand what we need to build into products on not only Yamamoto, but now with Buckeye, that he brings that expertise and it, again, angles that we haven't seen before. And so basically the person, Nick LeBrun, in how he treats people is just as good, if not much better than the fisherman he is. And that's saying something.
Yeah. And the thing about Nick that, from a personal level, as much success as he's had on the fishing, I mean, what is it? He
won the All-American on Cross Lake. I remember that's where I started following him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago. He finished second in a Bassmaster Open on Smith Lake to another guy on our GSM team, Porosnik.
Yep.
And I remember those second places
in that event.
Yeah, and I believe I remember watching because I just thought, man, those second places usually get to people sometimes. For some anglers, it's like to come so close but be so far. And then the next event was on Grand Lake and he won it. So evidently it didn't bother Nick LeBrun one bit. And then this last year, just on the pro circuit, he's lit the world on fire, winning on Gunnersville, and then going back to the next event, winning on the James River.
Yeah, back-to-back
professional highest $100,000 tournaments.
Yeah, and despite all of that success, the thing that means the most to me about Nick LeBrun is, and this is from a very personal level, but he's like in his bio. I can't say it any better. My main message is this: trophies, fame, and money doesn't last, but a relationship with Jesus Christ lasts forever. Nick is one of those guys that is very outspoken and upfront about his faith. It kind of frames who he is as a person, and in his mind, that's what success looks like. and we're super glad to have him on our team. So let's keep moving. We got a few more to cover here.
Yeah, we've got a number to cover, but the next guy is a guy who we've gotten to know as being part of the Yamamoto team for a while, but joining us now on Buckeye and Bill Lewis as well as Blake Smith.
Correct.
And he's another one who's just does a lot both on and off the water for any brand he represents.
Blake has headed up the Meet the Pros nights, where they go to local churches at different tour stops or tournament stops and have anglers come together and talk fishing, share their faith. Blake's another one of those dudes that's just it's a culture guy. He's a family guy. Like, no matter whatever happens in the future, like, Blake's family to me. And so let's just read through his bio real quick. So, no stranger to the water, many of Blake's influences as a child were professional fishermen and charter captains. He began his life in the fishing industry at a very young age. These connections led a young Blake at the time to many of the resources and techniques that he now uses as his own. This early love of the sport led Blake to a very early success at the local and world stage. At the age of 11, he won his first fishing derby, and by 13 had 2 freshwater IGFA world records. Wow. At 13. While maintaining a steady presence in the freshwater tournament world, Blake started moving up in the ranks in the saltwater circuit. Fishing in the IFA Redfish Tour and IFA Lucas Oil Pro-Am as a pro, Blake found himself with opportunities to become one of the only crossover professionals in the industry starting in 2015. This came shortly after posting a second-place Angler of the Year that same year in the Pro-Ams. This success led Blake to making a full-time crossover to the FLW Tour in 16, and the rest is history. Throughout all his years of fishing, Blake has grown in another area too. His love for fishing became merely a glimmer in comparison to his love for Christ. Blake helped lead and be part of groups on mission trips in Africa, South America, and Europe. The same love is what brought Blake and his wife Megan together, where they both served overseas on the mission field. Fast forward all these years later, Blake and Megan have 5 daughters. Man, I have one that I would consider giving away about every other day. Bless you, Blake. Aniston, Emerson, Adeline, Selah Jane, and Everly Grace, and another child on the way. Blake and his family find themselves speaking at over 30 events per year, including Meet the Pros nights, Bassmaster Legacy nights, Wild Game dinners, marriage conferences, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Focus Chapel, and many more. It is Blake, as well as his family's idea, to use their platform to reach individuals and families across the globe. Their nonprofit mission culture can be seen on his rig throughout the United States. So Blake is just, and look, James Niggemeyer just put it, Nick and Blake are my bros, quality people. Blake is a quality individual and a really good fisherman. I love talking fishing with Blake. He's so excited about it. We love talking hunting. Blake's just, man, he's family. He's one of us. Who do we have next coming on to Buckeye for 2023?
So, we've got anglers fishing all different levels and all different circuits. So we have some pro level guys and local, just everyday fishermen, your guides. And we also have some guys fishing kind of those up and coming tours like the Bassmaster Opens. And one of those guys is Chancey Walters.
Yep.
And he's been on with us for Yamamoto for a while, but he's coming over to Buckeye to join the ranks with us there as well. So that's really cool to get, again, an angler who's fishing a different level. And again, that's just for us to try to pull people from every walk of fishing life, so to speak.
Yeah, I was in a fog delay in a Bassmaster Open. Matter of fact, it was that one that Porosnik won on Smith Lake. He had a big fog delay one day, and I was tied up with Porosnik, and we were just talking tackle. And, Porosnik, it's one of the dudes I love to talk tackle with. Well, Chancey ties up with us, and I get to hang out with Chancey and talk, and that dude knows his stuff, man. Like, you can just tell when a guy gets it, and he gets it, right? Really a jack of all trades. He's a wildlife artist. He owns a company called Crank Wraps that does like the lure customization.
Yeah.
Owns like a cover scent for deer hunting, and he's a personality on Whitetail Adrenaline and a professional bass angler.
So
right?
Again, perfect for us at GSM with hunting and fishing.
Yeah. So
he fits right.
Chancey fits everything we do here. bought his first boat at 14, just scrubbed his way up through all the local stuff. And Chancey's one of those guys that anytime I open my phone and start reading what happened over the weekend would never surprise me to see Chancey's name up there. So we welcome Chancey onto the Buckeye team. Another guy, and I don't know. Well, go ahead, but I won't skip out on you first.
No, yeah, let's not get too far ahead. But the thing is, we got a lot of people to go through with Buckeye. This pro staff in particular was one that just, when it finally came together, it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is a monster.
This
right?
is a
like
monster.
You see this group of guys on paper, and you just go, my goodness, what an incredible group of anglers.
Mm-hmm. And so another one that we added to the lineup was Evan Barnes, and we got him across the board for GSM with Yamamoto, Bill Lewis, and Buckeye.
Yeah.
And he's someone who's, again, just someone who could just freaking catch it.
Yeah, Evan's he's a fish catcher, man, and a good dude also. Matter of fact, my boat's with him right now at All Things Marine, his rigging shop in Arkansas. He's rigging my new Skeeter out for me and does a fantastic job at that. But Evan's 32, lives in Dardanelle, 7th year fishing professionally, qualified for the pro circuit through the Toyota Series in 16, finished in the top 10 22 times, fished over 100 total events. When not on the road fishing, he's working at his new business called All Things Marine in Centerville, Arkansas, or spending time with his wife, Colleen, and their 2 girls. Faith is a huge part of his life. Seems to be a trend. Try his best to use whatever platform God gives him in fishing to share the world, the message of Jesus. And like Jack said, we brought Evan on, as with a couple of these other guys, all across the board. Nick LeBrun,
Blake Smith.
Yeah, Blake Smith. We just got James. Yeah, like we got guys that if you fit our family, you fit our family. And if you come in, we bring you in and you have access to it all. So Evan's an incredible fisherman, a wonderful guy. If he were logged in here, I would say more mean things about him than I am, because we love to bust each other's chops. But yeah, Evan's awesome. Evan's got some incredible ideas that are going to help us at Buckeye, without a doubt.
Definitely. I was really impressed in just when talking product with him. He's a thinker.
Yeah, he is. The contrary to what you might think if you met him. All right, tell us who's next.
Well, without further ado, again, the people we work with, we want to work with as much as we can. So expanding to add Buckeye to this guy was a no-brainer, and that's Fletcher Shryock. He's been a part of the Yamamoto team for years, and he just brings so much to that brand. It's like we couldn't not bring him to Bill Lewis and, of course, to Buckeye. And he's someone he's a different character.
Let the cat out of the bag about Bill Lewis, but that's okay.
Oh, that's all right. Well, there's just a tease, as in I just told you.
Yeah, so Fletch is one of those dudes that I honestly didn't know. And I know a lot of the guys out there that are doing this for a living just because of how long I've been in the industry. But I didn't know Fletcher, and I've gotten to know him over the last year. And man, he's just a super dude. Like I love the guy. I'm going to convert him over. You used to have lower unit oil in that Yamaha. Evan is listening, apparently. But Fletcher, I joke with him all the time. He's an Ohio State fan, and I'm going to convert him over to the Big Orange before it's over with. He lives in Tennessee now. So try to get him to a game or something and show him what real football is. But with that being said, man, this guy is a shallow water aficionado. Like, there's very few guys in this sport that are as successful as he is that will go, this is how I'm going to catch them. And that's what he does, right?
Yeah, and that's what's so impressive to me is like the name of the game these days seems to be versatility. That's what all the articles talk about. That's what videos say. The best anglers in the world, they're versatile. They'll do anything. And Fletcher can do everything. I've seen him do it. But time and time again, he knows what his strength is. And he knows that if he plays it that way, his game that way, he can have success. And that's being up shallow, getting tight in the gnarliest, nastiest cover. It's really old school bass fishing that he brings new twists to keep him successful and ahead of the curve.
I think about this. like I used to, I don't watch it as much as I used to. I don't know why, but I got really into UFC when it was like super popular, right? MMA, right? And you see these guys, this guy's a boxer, or this guy's a kickboxer, or this guy's a grappler, right? And usually the guy that's really good at what he does is pretty successful. But in the world of bass fishing, we're told you got to learn to do it all. Fletcher's just like, no, I don't.
Nah.
And the thing is, like, he's a good enough fisherman. He can catch them cranking. He can catch them slinging top water around. He can catch them, whatever, jerking and jerk bait, forward facing sonar. But that guy just knows that if he gets in an opportunity, oh man, whoever's running our page has already called him out on, did you get that ring yet? I'm not getting in the middle of that. I'm skipping that.
Oh, that's it.
I don't get involved in nuptials, but well, anyway, Fletcher's just that dude. Just like, all right, let's go play shallow and see how bad I can beat you. And he has done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He's not. Kid grew up in Dane,
Ohio.
Yeah, fishing motor or was like a motocross guy.
Yeah, he and his brother both big into motocross, and he made the jump to bass fishing and actually won an open on Lake Norman. That was really
that's it.
What
You're
propelled
right.
him. And that's what's crazy is like Norman is like clear water, and like you don't think of it as a shallow flipping powerhouse. And again, just shows that really he's capable anywhere, anytime to pull out the big guns and win a tournament.
But we've got some stuff in the works with Fletch that I think you're going to love under the Buckeye brand. And I'm pretty excited about where this is going to go.
Absolutely.
So next, another guy that I've known for some time, we hung out. I think the first time I met him, we were in Mexico doing fishing seminars, and we were fishing on like Sugar Lake down there. And this guy is a veteran who I laugh all the time or make jokes about people in here who fish a lot. I don't know if anybody fishes more than Pete Ponds. We've had Pete on Yamamoto for a year or so. Oh man, the ring thing keeps coming up. Now Fletcher's commenting on it. All I ask is that, look, Fletch, we love you too. And if you propose to her, can we do it live? Can we do it live on Buckeye? Come on.
You don't have to do that, Fletch. Don't listen to him.
So, Pete Ponds, we got him on Yamamoto, I think, a year ago. This guy's had a lot of influence in the industry. Most people don't realize how much Pete Ponds' fingerprints are on this industry with bait design from several brands over the years. The guy is just been a fishing pro for 27 years.
You don't fish professionally that long not catching.
How old are you, Jack?
I am 23.
Yeah. When did you turn 23?
About a couple weeks ago.
Did I tell you happy birthday?
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry. Happy birthday.
Oh,
happy birthday to Jack. How did I miss that?
23 years young. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. I'll buy you lunch tomorrow. But Pete Ponds has been fishing professionally for 27 years, over $1 million in tournament winnings. Currently fishing the MLF Pro Circuit. Is that a thing?
Well, it's now the
Invitational.
But it's the same. It's those same guys that have been fishing it for years.
A lure designer and part-time fishing guide. If you were to go to his, look, Fletcher said, let's just do it now. Oh my gosh. What are we getting into on Buckeye tonight? But if you look on Pete's social media lately, he's either slinging a Yamacraw around or he's shooting ducks. But that dude is fishing or hunting all the time. And just a gem of a guy, a Southern gentleman, wise man. I love talking tackle with him, and he's got some stuff that he's got dialed up for Buckeye that I think is going to be pretty killer. Yeah, we're really glad to have Pete as part of the team, or an extended part of the team. And then tell us who's next.
So this next guy,
I feel like I'm a game show host. I'm like, who's next? The Price is Right.
Well, this man I met fishing with in Mexico.
Okay.
And again, bringing some of our West Coast love back out east to the Buckeye brand, we're bringing Ty Au. And if you've ever met Ty, he's a one-of-a-kind fisherman and personality.
Yes.
That if you really need to follow him on social media, because if you're not, you're really missing out.
You are missing out, man. He is a funny dude. And you know what I love about Ty? Like every time I talk to him, see him, run into him, see pictures of him, like he's always smiling. Like this dude loves life. He loves what he's doing. Glendale, Arizona. 20 years of tournament fishing, 2 victories, 19 top 10s in MLF Wild West, and 1 bass. Father of 2 young children and currently competes on the Major League Fishing Invitationals.
And I believe.
What's up? Look, there's Ty.
There he is.
Ty's on with us. Dude, like, I'm going to give you some props, Ty, because, like, as serious as you can be when you need to be, you make it fun. And dude, like, and I'm going to throw this out there. I think I accidentally missed this comment. Ty, tell me if I'm right. Did you not tell me that, like, Nick LeBrun or somebody, like, baptized him in the Potomac River? Did you read that comment earlier?
I'm pretty sure that.
I hope that was Ty, because if not, we're going to make that happen. But Ty is just that dude. Like, I love to talk to him. We were texting back and forth today about a bait. He's like, man, we need to do this, and we need to do this way and that way. And just a phenomenal, Ty's a social media king. But he's just a king of a human as well. And you know, he's been with Yamamoto for a while, and I am just super, super excited to get him over here on the Buckeye side.
Yeah, and he's got expertise that really, like, if you want proof of expertise in jig fishing, that first day I met him in Mexico, he caught an 11-pounder and a 9-pounder, I'm pretty sure, back-to-back on a jig with Yamamoto Seiko on the back.
So was that palm tree deal?
Yeah, that's the palm tree.
He's the one that told me about it, or Brett High. I can't remember somebody.
The dumbest looking rig ever. And I'm just like, that ain't no. He slings it out and he catches at 11. So
I said, yes, that was me. They tried to drag me, Nick and Blake. But yeah, man, Ty's a super dude. And if you don't know him, you need to get to know him. Follow him on his social media. You'll be laughing all the time. Who's up next? Oof. Here's another one that I bet people will not see coming.
Yeah, this is another heavy hitter that
From
has
West
history.
Coast.
West Coast with history with us, and that is Brent Ayler. I mean, he needs no introduction. The man is one of the best to ever do it in bass fishing. And to have him with us on Buckeye is really just an honor.
Sure. Guys won over $2 million fishing. I met Brent back in the day. I was actually on pro staff with Lucky Craft.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you're going way back now, but Brent he's a hammer. And Brent's going to give us some knowledge he already has. Like, we've got some stuff cooking with Brent right now that I'm telling you is just, it's going to change Buckeye for the better. Brent is, I mean, well, let's just read through this real quick. In 9 years in the FLW career, he's won $2.2 million. Entered the MLF Pro Bass Tour as one of the top 15 leading all-time money winners in professional bass fishing. 8 wins, 51 top 10s, and more than $3.1 million in BASS, FLW, and MLF competition combined. Was the winner of the 2015 Toyota Texas Bass Classic. I forgot about that. Won the first ever MLF event, the 2012 Challenge Cup on Lake Amistad. Then 10 years later, last year, he won the 2022 Challenge Cup in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. The first one and the latest one. So Brent's just a special guy, man. He's just a super good dude. Once again, it's a culture thing. Brent lines up with our culture, part of our family. We love the dude, and we are so glad to get him over here. Had him with Yamamoto forever, but now he's with Buckeye, and you're going to start to see some guys like Ty, some guys like Brent, throw that West Coast kind of flair where we need it with this brand. Mm-hmm. So this is, once again, I tell everybody that Buckeye's an angler's brand. It really is. I've always thought about it that way. When I was, competing with them at another company, when I was fishing, I try everything. When I was using their products, this is an angler's brand, and we've just got some dang hammer anglers coming on board to help us grow it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we've got more to come.
More to come. So let's keep on. I feel like we're announcing like the all-star team. You know what I mean?
I feels like it. Again, with like there's obviously everyone's, I believe in this, wants to build a team that they're really proud of. And I think so obviously we're proud of our team, but just like in the conversations with you, especially when we first started coming together a few months back, like even with the cameras off, with no one recording what you're saying, you could just tell like we were fired up especially about this Buckeye.
This is something special. Like, I want to see a graphic.
Mm.
You can't hint our media people who are watching. I want to see a graphic with all of these guys on it.
Mm.
The existing Buckeye team, the
And
new ads.
just what it would just be a formidable force.
Oh
of
my
fishing.
gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in this industry a long time. I don't know that there's anything like this out there. Who we got next?
So next up, we got bringing over someone to Buckeye who's been with us on Bill Lewis and Yamamoto, a guy who's already in our corner, and that's Brock Bosley. Again, elite level talent because he's fishing on the Bassmaster Elite Series, the highest level of fishing. And so he's been fishing, it says in his bio, he's been fishing as a pro angler for 8 years. His favorite place to fish is Lake Champlain, which I would agree, that is an amazing lake. And he's after qualifying for the Elite Series and through the Opens in 2015, Brock has notched 5
That's
second
incredible.
place finishes.
I don't think that everybody realizes how consistently good you have to be to come second place 5 times.
And I think he might have, I know at least once, maybe twice, he did it in back-to-back events. Like finished second, went to the next one, finished second.
Sure. Everybody talks about that dub, right? Getting that W, getting that win. Man, like 5 second place finishes. That's incredibly high level fishing.
That's literally one little decision here, one missed fish here from being a 5-time champion.
That's exactly right.
The margin for error is so thin at that
Absolutely.
level. It really, it's just to get to that position is incredible. And so, and he has one of the coolest fish catches of all time. I don't know if, like, I remember in one of those second place finishes, he finished second to, I believe, Van Dam on the St. Lawrence, went to St. Clair, and he finished second in that one. I remember there was one moment where he was fishing a drop shot. He gets a smallmouth next to the boat. It comes off. He leans his whole body over the boat and he grabs the smallmouth no hook and bear hugs it.
I do remember that now that you say that.
It was iconic. It was pretty cool. So
that's awesome. So, he Brock's a stud. He's obviously, to bring him from one of our brands or 2 of our brands to another brand, we believe in Brock. And Brock's going to add a lot of value to this brand too. He's a power fishing dude that will really bring that perspective to us. So who's next on The Price is Right?
On the pro staff is right. We have Gray Buck.
Wow.
From Pennsylvania. He's the next one on our list, and someone who was, again, that we've had in our corner with Bill Lewis, and now he's coming over to Buckeye. So
Gray Buck is what I just associate him with like catching them smallies.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
You're right, but you can't just limit him to that, because he actually, what kind of gave him his jump was winning. He won a BFL regional on the Potomac River in a super tough fall time event, all largemouth in the grass, power fishing. He outfished them all to win that, and that gave him the jump start to start opportunities to fish professionally. But then, yes, he's also won Oneida Lake. Is like, that's, if you say Oneida Lake, you might as well just call it Gray Buck's Lake. He just dominates there. He won that Open there a few years ago,
right? And
he's still competing at the highest level thanks to the successes like that. Fishing for smallmouth or for largemouth, he can do it both.
That's right.
We're glad to have him on Buckeye as well as, again, he's someone who can catch him. So we want people who can catch him on our team.
Sure. And once again, attitude, culture, brings a lot to the table. I did not realize he graduated from Penn State. We'll have to talk football as well.
And he's finished, and he's done well nationally over the course of a whole season too. He finished 3rd on the pro circuit in the Angler of the Year race. And so,
really, I did not recognize that. I did not realize that.
Yeah. So it's not just, he's sparked out during an event. He's sparked for whole seasons. And that's the kind of consistency that we want. It shows, because anybody, there's a lot of good fish, so many good fishermen out there nowadays that could just light it up for a couple of days and really dial it in. But to dial it in season after season to survive as a pro angler takes a level of skill that we can then turn as a team and rely on when it comes to developing product and promoting products. So
absolutely.
He's done that multiple times.
I'm trying to see how many we've got left. Oh man. Is that it?
As far as I know.
All right. We got to squeeze these in here because we are running out of time. We have 10 minutes. There's no way we can cover all these in 10 minutes. Let's go. This dude is a West Coast icon. He's a hammer. Everybody out there knows who he is. Ken Ma. Ken Ma, I believe, has been with Bill Lewis.
Yes.
And Ken Ma, man, is just a dude out there. If you talk bass fishing in the West, Ken Ma is one of those names that consistently pops up.
Ken Ma's picture usually is him standing next to his like 10 trophies that he's won in a season. Like he wins all these Apex and Wild West Bass Tour, which if you guys don't know, that's virtually a professional level to talent that fishes in that circuit.
Yeah, because there's a group of anglers that are kind of contained out west because the kind of the challenge of traveling east, right?
Yeah.
So you've got all these hammers that fish in this real confined area, and Ken just like consistently beats those guys. So
and like we're not, again, it's hard to, we talk about Brock Mosley, how hard it is to get to second. Well, how much harder is it to get that final crest and crest the hill and win? And he wins.
And you know, the thing is too, to think about what Ken is, dude, he's doing it against locals. You know what I mean? Like I take zero away from the guy that can go catch them all over the country. Zero. But I tell you, there is also something to be said for a guy that consistently beats locals in a region, and Ken has proven he can do that. And Buckeye is going to benefit from having that kind of knowledge, that kind of expertise. Once again, another kind of West Coast addition to our staff. You know, I've often felt like Buckeye was a little bit hindered by being kind of this eastern, southeastern brand. And in fact, the product line really lends itself to the whole nation. And I think we're going to even grow that in importance with this Western influence, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was, again, something talking to anglers who fish all over. When we started grabbing these guys on the team, every one of them has a story of, oh, man, I throw a spot remover out here all the way up on Lake Shasta. Or I'm on Lake Fork, and I love that mop jig.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not so regional. And so it's about letting the public know that these aren't regional based, that they work everywhere. There's a time and a place for everything in the Buckeye line.
Fact. So let's speaking of region, let's talk about a guy that we're adding from my region.
From your neck of the woods?
Yep, very bottom of the list there.
This guy, he's a character.
He is a character. And you know, he's one of those guys, he's brash, he's loud, he's a lot. That's a good way to put this.
He's a lot.
He is a lot. But let me tell you something. When you get to know him, he's sincere. He cares about people. He is a really good guy, and that is Matt Robertson. Good old Onum himself.
Mr. Onum.
Matt is a guy that I've had the pleasure of working with in the past. The dude gets it, man. He's a tackle junkie. Very, very, very good offshore fisherman. Very good offshore fisherman. And Matt, we've got a couple things in the work with Matt that I think are going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I got one project in mind that I think is everybody will know exactly what I'm talking about when you see this product come to market. But going into his third season on the Elite Series, finished 7th last year in Angler of the Year, qualified for 4 classics, doing it 3 different ways.
Yeah, that's, again, do the math. 3 years on the Elites, 4 classics. He's qualified not just through the Elites, but I remember with that team event he won on the Harris Chain, he blew it out.
And he also qualified, if I'm not mistaken, my watch is going crazy.
He won through the Opens.
Through the Opens, yeah.
Yeah, he won on Cherokee fishing for smallmouth. So he goes from Florida, these Florida string largemouths. He wins in fishing for smallmouth, and he's just a hammer on the Tennessee River too. I remember there was one year when they had, I think it was COVID, we had a lot of schedules changes, and I was fishing the BFLs as well. And there was, a lot of the divisions were stacking them on top of each other, 2 to a weekend. And Matt just went out and won one, went out the next day and won the next one on Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, so he's pretty feared on Kentucky Lake, especially certain times of the year more than others. But he is, I don't take anything away from him all year long. The guy can catch them, as proven by 3 classic appearances and 4 classic appearances. That's what I meant. 3 different ways. So Matt Robertson, man, fun guy. The more you know him, the more you love him, and we're really excited to have him.
Yeah, so, Onum is as real as they come.
Yeah, he is.
When you get to know him, and that's what we really appreciate on our team. People are going to be real.
Yep. And he doesn't always tell you what you want to hear. Like, I'm like, hey man, what do you think about this? And he's like, hate it. And I'm like, that's not what I want to hear, but I appreciate your honesty. So we value Matt and his honesty, and he's just, Man, he's a good dude. Another guy that we brought over from one of our other brands. We had a deal with him with Yamamoto last year. We brought him into Yamamoto and the GSM fold. He actually represents a few of our hunting brands as well. And I mentioned him earlier when I was talking about Chansey, but Jacob Porosnik. Jacob is just a hammer. Jacob is just a hammer. I don't care. Kind of like what we were talking about. I don't care how you want to fish. He can fish. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I love about Jacob Porosnik is his attention to detail. I was sitting there talking to him one day about a bait that I was pretty proud of, a project I'd worked on at my last job, a very successful project. And he looked at me and he goes, "You know what you did wrong?" And I said, "No, I really don't." He goes, "This." And he told me what it was. And I said, "Exactly right. I just missed it." And he just got it like that, And Jacob is a great fisherman, a very good outdoorsman as a whole, a really, really funny guy. I talk to Jacob a ton and enjoy most of the time those conversations. But Jacob, I'd be hard pressed to find a guy that, like, if day in and day out, that you wouldn't bet on like you might Jacob. No matter where you go.
It's not even close. Jacob's someone who's been really a role model as far as fishing goes for me for a long time. I've followed him, and just him being a Virginia boy, I've been a big fan. And if you look at his stats year over year, we look at top 10s in Angler of the Year and say we've been so impressed with guys who do that, because it's like, wow, you were in the top 10 over a season, not just in one event. But if you look at Jacob's stats, he does it almost every year, virtually without fail. He's in the top 10 every year. So if you look at the last decade as a season, and each year is an event, he's winning the Angler of the Year of the decade. He just never misses. He's always there. And it's just that kind of consistency is just crazy to me. And it's something that if I could have just a quarter of that skill, I might catch, twice, 3 times, 10 times as many bass as I do right now.
Well, you still have hope for you, Jack. And then one more. And this one's pretty exciting too. This is a dude that I've gotten to know over the past year. He's been on our team at Bill Lewis. So not even a year. Recently went on a duck hunting trip with him out in South Louisiana. Spent 2 or 3 days at hunting camp in a duck blind. Stood out on the dock after duck hunting, fished, just talked about life and lures and aspirations, and it's a guy that he's becoming a better friend to me all the time, and that is Mark Daniels Jr. So we are bringing Mark Daniels Jr., MDJ, over to Buckeye this year, adding him to the team, and the guy, once again,
what do you say?
he just catches them.
Yeah.
West Coast guy, lives in Alabama now. Seems to be a trick. Why does everybody leave the West Coast? Everybody seems to leave the West Coast and move to Texas or Alabama.
Those are the 2 places. That's an A-mark trend.
Yeah, it is, no doubt. But he just he won his first event with a Ned rig or something, but he grew up
first national, but a professional event. But he won the TBF national championship on Grand Lake throwing an A rig. So he's fished Highland reservoirs, and then he's from the Delta, so he loves to flip. He understands flipping, but he's also proven himself on the Bass Pro Tour and the Elite Series to be a smallmouth specialist. So really, there's no way that Mark can't catch him, because he's seen it all. And he's someone, again, another one, I geek out about this whole product, this whole pro staff that we have, because I'm just a big fan of fishing. And so looking at the names we have, Mark is one of those guys that I've followed for forever, back from the pro circuit days, back when it was the FLW Tour, and he was on Circuit Breaker, that show.
That's right.
That was when, Mark, I think he's another person who's so genuine. People see that. And so that's where, that show, I connected with him, and meeting him in person, I'll let you know, it's the same thing. He's just as real in person. It's not an act. He's as real.
Yeah, no, he's
super genuine,
super legit guy. And you just, like you said, he's just a good good human, man, and an incredible fisherman. And James Niggemeyer says West Coast travel is just a lot to add, and I guarantee that's right. That's why so many guys that get serious about it make the move out here.
Yeah, it's just funny looking at it when you put the whole list. Like, man, we see a trend here.
There's a trend there, but just to kind of regurgitate this, we kind of are going over our look. Matt Robertson just jumped on. Welcome to the party, Matthew. But just to kind of regurgitate this list, Brendan, here, I'm not going to reach over you, but
I'm going to give me the 15-inch, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to run back through these real quick and tell you one more time that this is the new additions to an already pretty stellar staff at Buckeye. Mm-hmm. But we've got Blake Hall, Brandon Perkins, Marshall Robinson, Shane Lamont, James Niggemeyer, Laker Howell, Nick LeBrun, Blake Smith, Chancey Walters, Evan Barnes, Fletcher Schrock, Pete Pons, Ty Owl, Brent Ayler, Brock Mosley, Gray Buck, Ken Ma, Mark Daniels Jr., Jacob Porosnik, Matt Robertson. Bro, like, what? Like that
with Marty the Party, G-Man, and Clay Dyer already on the team.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer's already. It's good times at Buckeye right now. So we're excited. We're excited to work on some incredible new products with these guys that we're going to bring to you guys. And hey, let me throw this out there. Let me make sure I get the dates right. I'm not doing this like as a promo, but I do want to make sure that you know about it. So January 22nd on Sam Rayburn, we've got what we're calling the Battle of the Brands tournament, right? So formerly the Rattle Trap tournament, the Trap tournament on Rayburn. Well, this year we've got more than the Trap. So we're gonna have an awesome tournament that day. A bunch of our pros are gonna be there. Great payout, prizes, all kinds of fun stuff on Rayburn. And that's January 22nd. And then we're going to follow that up on February 5th on Gunnersville. You can use any product from the 4 GSM fishing brands. It'd be Steel Shad, Yamamoto, Buckeye, Bill Lewis. And it's going to be a great time. So we want to invite you to come hang out with us, fish with us. It's going to be a blast. And I tell you what, let's do. And the Jack Dice. How about that? Jackie D.
As you can see, it's someone on the inside. So
I know we're still going to read it. Hey, we're about 3 minutes over, but here's what we're going to do. So we've already made it this far. We want to. You know what? I didn't even mention this. I'm going to throw this guy in there. He just made a comment. It caught my eye, and I did not even mention this, but. Because here's the thing. I think about this guy so much as a partner. It's almost like an employee. Mm-hmm. But Kim Stricker. Mm-hmm. We brought Kim Stricker over. We brought Kim Stricker on of Hook and Look. And man, I've filmed with him, fished with him, hung out with him, talked tackle with him, done business with him. And Kim is one of those dudes that has a perspective on fish different than anybody else because he gets to see things nobody else does. And when you're trying to design products, to have that resource as part of your team and part of your arsenal, Kim, I hope that didn't come across wrong. I just treat you like one of us, and I didn't even think about throwing you in there. But we love you, we appreciate you, and so. Hook and Look, Kim Stricker. If you're not following his content, you're missing out.
It's some of the best in all of bass fishing because it's what nobody else really has the way he does.
That's fact. So I'll tell you what, let's do. While we're here, let's take a few questions. We got several of our pros on. You got Jackson Dice over here. His name's not really Jack, in case you didn't know that. And myself, if I don't know the answer, I'll just make it up. Or I'll pin it off on Jack. But got any questions about the product line, direction? Man, tell us what you love. Tell us what you don't love. about Buckeye. If you don't love it, we'll probably just skip that question. But we'll hang out for a few more minutes and let you throw some shots at Evan Barnes or whatever you want to do to cap this thing off. But once again, while questions are loading up here, this is a team, this is a family, this is a tribe that we Ryan, you had to go there first, didn't you? Not even reading that one. Nope. You can go ahead and skip it. Buckeye Lures, haven't heard of it. Well, Nathaniel, bro, I don't know if you're making a joke or not, but it's kind of hurtful. If you haven't, you ought to look them up. Look us up. We'll hook you up. But really, really excited about what we've got going on at Buckeye. I feel like the direction is exactly where this brand needs to go to grow. I believe the direction is exactly where this brand needs to go to be kind of a staple for anglers across the country. And we've got some awesome projects in the works. Like I wish I could say more. I really do, because like I'm sitting here like, I would love to tell you what we're working on. It kind of takes all the fun out of these product releases if we just tell you now. Clay Dyer, my main man. My little boy told me that you and Steele have a race, if you recall that. I think that was at the Pickwick Open where you or him challenged the other one to a race. Swim baits, glide baits. So, Dan, here's the deal, bub. Like, we're probably, man, like our hard baits, we're going to probably keep in Bill Lewis. Our lead pour stuff we'll probably keep with Buckeye. Our soft plastics we'll probably keep with Yamamoto. Blade baits will be Steel Shad. So I loved all of that because I love everything you're putting down right there, but it's probably not going to be Buckeye products. We will have some stuff that apply to those, but those particular baits will probably be in our other brands. Tell him he's on when we see each other next. I'll tell him. He asked me about it the other day. You ever talk to Clay? You ever remember that race we're supposed to have? Balling out jig and full skirt model is an amazing jig, along with the spot remover, hard to beat around the South Carolina area lakes. Yeah, I mean, obviously kind of the birthplace of Buckeye, right?
Yeah, and so that's we definitely, just because we want to expand and have these guys from all over doesn't mean we want to forget the roots that we stand on.
Sure.
That's again, there's always going to be a special place in our hearts with that South Carolina area for Buckeye.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's the heritage of this brand.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. The mop jig and Davy height and those herring, like it's just all, it goes together. But that's what's so cool is we get this opportunity to bring in all these new perspectives and build stuff. That's what the pro. It's not just that we want walking billboards. We want, again, like as you said earlier, we want their minds on how they understand what it takes to trick bass into biting.
Right.
And so we turn that into tackle for us. Right. That's our business. And that tackle then turns into success for you guys on the water. And selfishly for me, hopefully for me too, that's like for me, my biggest motivation is whenever we're building this stuff is I just want stuff that I can catch fish on. And so again, I'm going to lean on our team's expertise because they know so much more than I do. And then also just selfishly, I just want to see us make it as soon as possible because I'd like to catch more fish too.
I just want your job. That's what I want.
I like my job. It's not bad.
Jack Dice fishes more than anybody I know outside of Pete Parnes, I think, or maybe Clark Ream or a couple of those guys that we've got on one of our teams. But all right, let's get back here. Are y'all thinking of bringing a soft plastic line to Buckeye? No, man, I kind of addressed that, Derek. We're going to keep kind of our lines kind of rigid at this point. Like Buckeye's really good at lead pour, jigs, wire baits, soft plastics. We've got a brand in Yamamoto, Buckeye Lures. I want Jack's job too.
Just trying to be part of the team. I'm just doing what I'm told.
With soft lures, man, we've got Yamamoto, and why would you ever try to build a soft bait in any other brand? I mean, it's just money. So, let me see here. 1/4 and 3/8. Oh, Kenneth Grover done threw out that ditto buzz bait. That is money. You're absolutely right. Need to step up my game on jig fishing. Never seem to do well or just don't have the right tackle. man, that's honestly outside of maybe cranking a big plug. There's nothing I'd rather do than catch them on a jig.
I've noticed. Yeah, every time I'm in the boat with him, first thing comes out is a big crank, and the next thing that comes out is a Buckeye jig.
Yeah, so. Man, it's that jig deal, dude. I mean, and Dan, I mean, man, we'll talk offline or something, but yeah, man, it's just such an important part of the arsenal. I think of a bass fisherman is to have confidence in that jig. So, man, I mean, I'm not an expert by any means. We got plenty of guys on here that are, but if I could lend anything to you, I certainly will. Clay, have a blessed night, guys. Headed to bed. Head to Gunnersville tomorrow. I don't feel sorry for you if you stay up late. And then so Kim Stricker, how about ice fishing jigs? Hey, bro, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. Been ice fishing one time in my life. Went on Mille Lacs a couple years ago and had a ball. Well, there's too many rednecks where I live. Somebody would end up doing something really dumb, like on a regular basis. So ice fishing is it's a good thing. Good thing that it's not a thing. But so look, it's 10 after 9. I've seen about 3 guys say they're headed to bed. Started about 4 o'clock this morning. Tired. Got to work a show again all day tomorrow. We've been doing Facebook Live for 2 hours straight now plus. Baby Jack needs his beauty sleep. Steel Shad. Oh, so look, man, we don't give Steel Shad enough love. We'll buy 400 G-Man finesse swim bait heads if Jack says Nick Pemberton is going to win Bass College on the James River.
I mean, heck, if you're going to buy 400, we'll sure head. I'll go ahead and say Nick Pemberton is going to win the Bass College on James River.
All right, Logan,
go ahead and win it. Go knock it down. Hey, you guys they're going at a great time. Like they will smash them. So Nick, go catch them up. You're going to need like at least 20 pounds a day.
And Logan, put your money where your mouth is, homie. So in the comments says Steel Shad. I know we're talking Buckeye, but well, Steel Shad's another brand that we acquired back in the summer that is a phenomenal blade bait. If you haven't used one, I highly encourage it. I mean, there's lots of options out there in that blade bait category, but that Steel Shad is pretty special. It's a bait that I knew about well before it came for sale. I've been throwing one for a couple of years. Really, really good bait. And we've got some pretty innovative things coming with it too for 2023. So, we should do one of these soon about Steel Shad. Let's just talk Steel Shad, blade bait fishing.
Especially soon, because now is the time. Like if you've never fished a blade bait, it's one of those baits that doesn't get a lot of love because I think it's just a lot of the national events don't usually take place in the dead of winter, which is when this bait is really at its most deadly. It can catch them all year, but now is when it's really deadly. So like when I first started learning it, I kind of just at first I never fished it, but when I finally learned it, it's really a very simple bait. It's not complicated.
Right.
Small little lift and drop retrieves, but it really gets bit when it's hard to get bit on anything else. My PB bass is on a blade bait.
Is that right?
In January.
PB. That's
my
a kid.
PB.
That's a kid.
Put
thing.
that in there. That's a key word that will get a lot of views.
My PB. Bro, when I was your age, we just said personal best because we weren't too lazy.
Well, get on the tubes. Everyone puts PB in everything. Everything.
All right, 23 and already decided that it's too much effort to say personal best. So look, hey, thank y'all. Appreciate you tuning in. Keep up with our guys. Keep up with our brand. Man, reach out to us. Let us know what you need. Let us know what you love. Let us know what you hate. Jack will answer all of those. And hey, we appreciate you. We're not here without you, right? Like I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't even want to contemplate what I'd be doing because
I don't want to either.
This is my dream job, and I do this because of all of you out there that buy tackle and love this crazy sport that we love. But peanut butter, PB, that's right, and it's better with some J at the end of it. But with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate you, love you, talk to you soon. God bless. See you soon, guys. Take care. If I can get out.